Everything we've been doing has finally paid off. Now people claim I'm a terrible troll, but this video says otherwise. The things Madlibbs uses are one-sided or lacking context, which is just the irony. The end of it all is like the beginning. A Slamer's video. The reason this video was made was not because of some grand harassment, but instead because they can't stand someone opposing their views. Countless times this group has tried to come at us and make up accusations, doing anything in their power because we've been cornering them. Now if I harassed Lucy, why is it he fired the first shot? If I harassed Slumber, why is it he fired the first shot? Essentially, they've taken a compilation of me retaliating back against them and playing the victim card. And not only is it despicable, but it's not going to work. The video's purpose is not to just respond to the bullshit lies they spilled, but to bring light to everything we know about them, regardless of whatever consequences they want to dish out for it. Originally, this type of video was to be Operation Order 66. Bring light to this group entirely, whilst we knock them down one by one. Yes, that is a Star Wars reference. However, with their yet another tiresome attempt to bring me down, we decided it was time. Editor's note, I believe this is worth mentioning, but the reason this video took forever to make is because the files corrupted twice. The first time around, I was halfway done with the project. The second time around, I was about to export the final project. Anyways, word of advice, fuck Walmart. Do not purchase on SD cards. Apparently they deteriorate with use and will corrupt out of nowhere. Mine lasted a few months. Don't take that risk. Get SansDisk. This video and script has had lots of revisions and changes. So, get your popcorn and please enjoy. Now the phobes. I don't hate trans people. I just don't agree with their ideology when it comes to pronouns and gender. Actually, I have constantly reminded individuals who I do disagree with that are trans that I don't hate them. Lucy, Slumber, and even those who incited K-pop stans to spam my mentions. The idea you have to hate someone based on different views is completely retarded. Screenshots of me on Twitter debating with people, expressing my views, and claims I'm harassing trans people by not showing you the entirety of the thread. She'll show the negative things I said and push that I said them to the person because they were trans, and try to push that I do this to random people out of the blue, when I don't. She'll show things I said and assume they were said to the person because they were trans, and doesn't show the entire thread. The evidence she provides is me making a joke out of identity politics.
Here's a joke, I'm a female because I identify as one. Here's a joke, I'm a female because I identify as one. Here's a joke, I'm a female because I identify as one. Here's a joke, I'm a female because I identify as one.
She doesn't provide the context, but a Twitter user by the name of Gragnor made an attack helicopter pride flag. Twitter being Twitter, people cried saying, "You only have one joke," so I provided that joke. She also uses a screenshot where she also tries to use the interaction with which ex-boy.
Another example of the delusions that plague people. Almost heartbreaking. Somebody responded to him once with, "A man is all I see. Oh, and my beautiful girlfriend, hee hee hee." Not really, you're delusional, and I love pointing it out. I'm 16, I'm not a man, my birth certificate says otherwise. Yeah, okay, tell yourself that. I will, thanks for the tip. For real though, I am a 16-year-old girl. My friends who know me IRL know what I look like. You aren't fooling anyone. Keep trying though, it's funny. Says the girl about to take harmful hormones to feed their delusions. I'm sexist for saying I hate men? I'm literally a man. What? Make it make sense. You're not a man. He's a man, bruh. Wrong. She's a woman. Have you seen his pictures? That's clearly a man. That's no man. Women who think they're men aren't men. Germany shouldn't be allowing it. If you want to spend your money on fake breasts, dangerous hormones, or bottom surgeries, let them. It changes nothing but physique.
By the way, is exactly where she snagged the "I pity you" tweet.
That's a male. No matter surgery, no matter hormones, no matter your feelings, it changes nothing. Literally nothing. I don't hate you for this. In fact, I hold nothing against you. I pity you.
From the thread. Which ex-boy is a woman who claims to be a man? And there's her girlfriend. She first uses me stating, "You can't erase something built on non-existent principles."
Somebody said, fuck y'all for trying to erase the trans community. Bitch, we still here, we ain't going anywhere. The LGB Alliance is a hate group, pass it the fuck on. And he responded, you can't erase something that's built on non-existent principles.
Referring to the trans ideology and the LGB Alliance. And a quote retweet of Witch Exploit's tweet. However, she doesn't mention how that started the entire thread in drama. That single interaction is what caused all of that to happen. All the way up until this tweet where soft boys only adds to his lengthy pinned tweet, which is just him crying over pronouns and conservatives, which Madlibbs chooses to nitpick things from, making it appear I was attacking them in their post claiming to be a man. All I see is a man, when really that was a reply to the thread. She kept going on the thread and threw insults, so I returned the favor. But Mad Cow won't show you that, or mention the fact they had 9 different K-pop stans raid my mentions over pronouns. So what's the takeaway? If you don't agree with people on Twitter, they get hostile and start dogpiling. You return hostility, and they get 9 different people to spam your mentions and start shit-talking. And then you're somehow harassing them. Never mind the fact they got hostile first and kept the interaction going. She also attempts to use clips from my videos, claiming they're transphobic, which most of it is just me explaining why I disagree and how it isn't inherently hateful to not share and take part in the ideology. But considering the ideology literally points the finger, harasses, and tries to hammer away at anyone who disagrees or doesn't conform to their way of thinking, like it's the 1800s and any form of individual thought is blasphemy and heresy.
Heresy! Destroy it!
I'm honestly not surprised. Now there's 2 things worth covering here. 1, me making fun of Lucy's deep masculine voice, which is practically the theme song for Testosterone, by the way, is somehow hateful or transphobic. He literally has made fun of my voice. And in the video I've responded to said this shit.
I'm throwing my hat in this ring and talking about someone who is such an indescribable asshole that they've caused me physical discomfort just by things they've said and the fact that they still breed. So, I will do my best to explain why I despise this low-life cum chalice of a person. Now, how do I describe this utter waste of space? Well, first of all, his name is Akumu. And he's a victim-shaming, white-knighting, paranoid, defensive, contradictory, whiny manlet who perceives himself as smarter than everyone around him. He makes the people on Kiwi farms look considerate. That's how much of a shrimp-dicked fucknugget he is. Akumu is literally some of the lowest scum on the earth. In the most homey way possible, choke on my transsexual pink pube dick, you spineless, honorless shit puppet.
But a single joke about his voice is a big sin. A massive double standard. Secondly, yes, if you are constantly crying about pronouns and needing others to conform to your way of thinking over your own insecurity, creating an echo chamber, yeah, you do have serious life problems. She also scrolls through my Twitter showing the July 17th tweets, yet again doesn't provide any of the context.
to see what they're actually about. So instead, I'm just going to scroll through his Twitter. As I scroll, you're going to notice a particular theme with these tweets. The theme being that this guy spends hours on end attacking and arguing about the validity of trans people.
That it was me who was getting ganged up on for disagreeing, but instead, this cow claims it's me attacking them. Literally states it.
The theme being that this guy spends hours on end attacking and arguing about the validity of trans people.
Now, homophobia. I'm not against people who sexually identify as being gay. I just don't agree with the My Hero Academia fandom fetishizing gay ships, especially when some of those ships have pedophilia involved. Her first piece of evidence is me quote retweeting Toby, pointing out how pansexual is just bisexual with extra steps. How am I against gay relationships when I support bisexuality? Please, make it make sense. Secondly, you can find literal screenshots of me defending my posts about My Hero Academia for valid reasons. For example, legitimate harassment on an author, legitimate harassment to those who call out these ships for being wrong, and holy fuck, a lot of porn and illegal ships. These have been massive issues in the My Hero Academia community for so long. Actually, this entire thing was addressed in my video on Lucy twice. She also says I made a claim, which is just me stating that the gay My Hero Academia ships have created vile depictions that you can't get out of your memory.
And if that wasn't enough, he also claimed in a video that gay My Hero Academia ships have created, and I quote,
some of the most vile depictions you can't get out of your memory. I'm sorry, but I don't like seeing two minor characters forced into fucking because people obsess and fetishize gay relationships. That's just gross. Fetishizing a relationship's sexuality is just gross, and the fact this cow defends it and twists it just reminds me of Lucy. She also twists my words when I stated, you ship things that make sense, not just because it's gay and you're delusional.
Interesting, because as I just read in the post, he specified that that one person was shipping things that made sense and not the gay ships. He specifically said multiple times in the screenshots that he had a problem with the gay ships. And while I agree trying to force non-canon ships to be canon is gross, saying that gay ships are spreading garbage ideals and create the most horrible depictions you can't get out of your memory, and calling people that enjoy gay ships sick and disgusting is very fucked up, and it's very homophobic.
Where is the issue? You think fetishizing gay relationships with minor characters is okay? And how is that against all gay individuals? I'm sorry, but unlike Toby, I don't like fetishizing something or someone based on their sexuality. So Mad Cow's logic is, if I call people disgusting for shipping minors into gay ships solely because it's gay, fetishizing it, I'm in the wrong? Ah, yes. If I don't like ships because they cause issues with the community, author, and fetishize something that really shouldn't be fetishized, I'm then homophobic? In this segment, she basically takes the already debunked segment basis that Lucy tried, essentially claiming what I'm doing is racist, but in this case, ignorance, which is commonly thrown around by these cows, let alone bigotry. Honestly, they lack a lot of self-awareness. She complains about me saying Loki isn't black.
Here's another picture of a woman doing her own version of Loki, and she titled it, Loki, but make it modern and black, and she looks hella dope. Akumu responds, no.
When he literally isn't. That's not an issue to do with the person themselves. I've actually already explained this dozens of times. And goes on to cry because I pointed out how a cosplay didn't look like Zabuza.
Here's another woman cosplaying Zabuza. I don't know who that is, but she looks great. And Akumu said, looks nothing like Zabuza.
Sure, the cosplayer looks great. The cosplay, not so much. Then she starts pushing that I went out of my way to find tweets about black creators.
Respecting a character's design. He's also gone out of his way on Twitter to bash people mentioning a character as black, as I will read now. Not enough black female characters in anime? I drew mine, my original shonen manga character. Really? Really? Now there's nothing wrong with a black female character, but my guy, is that all your character is? Are you trying to boast about two of her features which are irrelevant to her character arc? Look at a kick, a black martial arts seinen manga by a black creator. Those in supportive mood towards black and other diverse manga comics, check out Underground. The artist being black is irrelevant, as is the character's race. If the story's good, the story's good. Hashtag Black Girl Magic Lead Hero and returns with new installments. They fucking made it to a tag? Oh my god, hashtag Black Girl Magic? Christ, you're all obsessed with race. You'll notice right here that they're all right next to each other, meaning that he went out of his way to find people talking about black characters or black representation just so that he could bash them. Oh, but it's okay, guys, because he's mixed. Again, I'll let you guys make your own decisions on that one, and we will move on.
When no, I didn't. I follow Wyatt manga, and that means I also see Saturday AM. The issue is they're really bad advertising, trying to use the author or main character's race, sexuality, or gender to promote it, which is just downright stupid and shallow. Tell me about the characters, their abilities, what are their personalities like, what challenges do they need to overcome, what's their goals, tell me the story and world building, not whatever the fuck this stupid shit is. Wyatt Manga isn't even the only one I've criticized for doing it. In the first screenshot she fails to use, I literally state, now there's nothing wrong with black female characters, but my guy, is that all your character is? Are you really trying to boast about two of her character features which are irrelevant to her character arc? I literally state, there's nothing wrong with black female characters, and then criticize them for not telling anything about the actual character. That's not racism or ignorance. That's pointing out poor advertising and blatant grabbing at race. Look at the tags, drawling while black. The artist being black is irrelevant, as is the character's race. If the story is good, the story is good. Me stating that they don't matter, criticizing them for constantly bringing it up, stating it's irrelevant. I hate to break it to you, but that's not racism or ignorance. That's me getting tired of their shit-tier advertising trying to cash in views on minimalistic things. If you don't believe me, here's some screenshots from the same day where I elaborate further. Me stating a character or author's race doesn't matter is ignorant, but the opposite of that is claiming race matters. Yet people call me racist. The irony in this segment is, she lies, in a segment trying to call me out for lying, and is also hypocritical. So let's get into it. First, she mentions the basic fact about me, that I have alts.
First and foremost, this kid has a bit of a reputation for making alt accounts to spam and harass people. Here's the screenshots of the ones I could grab off of Twitter, because he keeps ban evading by making new accounts, which is against Twitter's terms of service. Here are the alts I have in my hidden channels list from when he tried to spam one of my streams. Here's another alt from an unlisted stream that he went into to spam on somebody else's channel. Here's his Instagram alt that he made for responding to comments.
But I have never hidden the fact I use alts. Yes, I use alts. We know this. Everyone knows this. I even have an Instagram alt so I can comment when Instagram stops my main account from doing so. The alts are made to prevent my removal from the site. This has been said dozens of times. I never once made an alt to evade a block or spam. That would be pointless, as I can still see what the person is tweeting by throwing their account into an incognito tab. I've only made new accounts after they've been suspended.
Another thing he does quite often is delete comments on his YouTube videos. Here's a whole bunch of screenshots of him admitting that he deletes comments that portray his video inaccurately, as he says. I noticed you've deleted Slimmer's comment. I wonder why. I also had responded to it. I delete all comments that portray me or my video inaccurately. I've also commented on her video bringing it up. I'm not hiding anything. Your suspicion is false.
Comments. Comments that either made shit up about me, made shit up about the video, were spam, or simply restating an argument already used up, were removed during that time. You act as though I was removing all comments that disagreed with me, and yet you can still find comments that disagree with me. She also deletes things.
Said in the edited version of my comment, I had to hide him on the channel after he showed up in a live stream to mock my friend Lucy, aka Fuchsia Butter, for being trans. Now I will admit his first main account was hidden for no reason. My friend and mod Toby saw it was him and hid him immediately, and I was going to unhide him because he hadn't done anything yet other than be kind of annoying. However, he decided to come back with multiple alt accounts, which you can see in my hidden channels list, so that he could spam my chat and argue about Lucy's gender. Unfortunately, I deleted that stream because I delete almost all of my streams. I think
You're a hypocrite. As well, your argument would work if I was still deleting comments. You see, AJ Game Guy and I recently figured out an issue within YouTube. When I block people, I don't like having to block people on YouTube or Twitter. It's very rare. Anyways, as it turns out, when I block people, almost all the time it was removing their comments, which I didn't know. I know hiding people hides their comments, And I was under the impression when you block someone, it only removed their ability to comment. Because some people I blocked, their comments remained. Like CJ's comments. Even though I only blocked AJ, not hit him, his comments ended up getting removed. Now to be exact, I haven't removed any comments as of lately. Now sure, she might mention my alts that I've used on streams, but I haven't spammed with them, just in case someone attempts to hide them or put them in a timeout. She also tries to say that my tweet showing evidence of tweets that Lucy and Ponder claimed were deleted doesn't hold up well because you can't see the timestamp.
Now, he tried to claim that he never deleted anything by using screenshots of tweets from the old account. However, these tweets are all cropped in a way where you can't see the timestamp of the phone or whatever is screenshotting it, which means that these screenshots could have easily been taken before he deleted anything, so it doesn't really hold up.
And then you tried to backtrack with a pinned tweet saying, "Oh, I don't delete anything," when the images were cropped not to show the clock or date, and the profile picture was different in the images compared to your current one.
You see, you did a lot of depth research, kind of like Ponder did, but you didn't come to the conclusion that I've had several alts. The screenshot you just showed is my current account showing screenshots of the account Ponder was talking about. You're talking about my troll account. Explain the whole alt thingy because I no doubt got a feeling that people are going to try and use that again. This is the alt that I used to troll right here. 641 tweets. Yet I wiped it. Okay. And this one's also suspended. Then there's my current alt, which is this one. And then there's my previous alt, which plenty of them shared the same pictures, but the ads are quite different, as you can see. I've had a lot of alts. Probably, I guess I could go with the number 11.
So because you cannot see the timestamp, or the time in the right corner of the phone, that means they aren't valid? Well, here's those same screenshots, just taken recently with the time. If the screenshot being cropped means it doesn't hold up well, then almost every single screenshot in this video is now null and void. Even the one you're using is now null and void. She brings up the tweets made on July 18th. My Twitter was made a few days prior to that, 15th or 16th. Issue with that is I actually never wiped my tweets. The tweet was made as bait. A lot of shit that's happened lately has just been bait. Junkie, Doodles, the Twitter debates, for example. We did specific things to my Discord, the High Council, knowing full well people would spy on it. The thing is, I screenshot and document not only everything I do, but almost everything around me. It wasn't an attempt to hide my trolling. By your logic, I want to hide tweets. But so far, both times, I have been open about my trolling. Even after I was open about my trolling. Your point doesn't add up. Because I was trying to hide me trolling, why in the world would I be so open and blunt forward about it? Countless videos of mine have me admitting to trolling. She also claims I illegally recorded a call.
He also records Discord conversations without people's knowledge, which in many places is very illegal.
No, I didn't. I have 3 people consenting to the call. Not only is his server a public Discord server, but so was one of the calls. How else do we get in it if not? Recording somebody without their knowledge, that's your best point. Me recording a guy trying to rationalize sexualizing minor characters is now shady. Now in her video, she admits that I have not doxed anyone, and that she isn't claiming I have.
Now, to my knowledge, Akumu himself has never doxed anybody, and I'm not trying to accuse him of doing the doxing.
But, she wasn't singing that same tune on Twitter. You literally said I was doxing you all on Twitter. Then she goes on to state I heavily associate with doxers.
However, he heavily associates himself with multiple doxers. Doxers who are part of something called the UTTP.
She also claims I heavily associated with them, when it's only 2 people that I've barely spoken with, that I've never claimed to be friends with.
Also have DMs of this account talking with Akumu about UTTP in another server.
But no, he doesn't. Why? This isn't from our DMs. I also find it strange you went out of your way to crop the screenshots so that it doesn't show the statement, I barely know Sherman. Now she has 2 courses of action. Either blame the cropping on Slumber and throw him under the bus, or admit they did it and shoot herself in the foot again. Let's see what happens next. She also says that me knowing Sherman and Lugia means I'm inherently responsible for their actions, or guilty for what they've done.
true that Sherman was bothering Nezzy Monster well before all of this happened, but nobody has ever tried to break into her Twitter or PayPal before she had problems with Akumu. That only happened after Akumu was having problems with Nezzy. Now, Akumu claims that he told Sherman to stop messing with her. However, I think it's very interesting that as soon as Akumu gets into some bigger beef with Nezzy after all of this time after her video came out, that somebody, for some mysterious reason, starts trying to break into her Twitter and PayPal. Yes, her PayPal, the thing that she uses to make money through her commissions, the thing that has her personal banking information on it as well as her address, endangering both her financial situation and her personal safety, and this shit is not okay. For multiple reasons. The first and worst of all being that this could put her and a lot of other people that he's trying to dox in danger. But it's also because this right here is insanely hypocritical. Allow me to explain.
Her evidence that I asked them to do it is non-existent. It's pure coincidence. Hold on to this guilty by association. By that logic, you are also guilty for Toby's underage character porn, Toasty, and Fushia's. That's not literal, but that's just your logic taken and applied to your own sick bunch. Madlibbs also claims she has evidence of me admitting to knowing Sherman, but as established previously, she also had evidence of me stating, I barely know Sherman. And I literally state screenshots she shows, then claimed I was guilty because I know the person fucking with her, who by the way, I've told to stop way before any of this happened, and yet she proceeds to push that, when I literally stated I told him to stop when I found out. Then tries to infer that I'm responsible for the PayPal hack attempts, because they didn't start until Nezzy's false sexual harassment claim against my friend. What is her evidence? Simply, it happened at the same time, when I have no history of hacking nor knowing how. I'm on record for being against it. I've never supported it. When I found out about Lucy being DDoSed, I went to the person responsible and told them to stop. When ZZ's channel was hacked, I even told her I didn't support that kind of thing, because she thought I was there to rub it in her face. Mad Cow does a few things in this segment. First, showing off my god-awful audio and its constant breaks. To those who had to tolerate that, I am so sorry. Your ears must have been in a great deal of pain. She also uses this clip. Does that mean I'm going to be nicer? No, absolutely not. This is fun. Someone else would try and bring up my trolling, but they'll just end up like this. It's just extremely ironic considering the video and the segment she puts it in, and now the result of doing so. Should have listened to the past me, Cow, then you wouldn't be in this pickle you've put yourself in. She also laughably says this.
Whether or not you're trolling, creating alts to harass somebody is not okay.
I didn't create alts to harass someone. You haven't provided evidence for me making them to harass people. I make them to continue to be on Twitter or continue to comment in a stream or video, when you all attempt to remove my ability to do so. I haven't used it to spam, I've only used it to solely speak my mind.
Whether or not you're trolling, mocking somebody's assault to their face is not okay.
Ah, the good old Slummer's tweet. Now, I signed into the same Twitter account that made this tweet, and here's what I found. You'll notice something interesting. It doesn't have the @Slummers at all. Now, why does her version of this have it? I wonder. Now, Slummers did change her @, but if she changed it, her @ would still remain. It just wouldn't be blue. As demonstrated on my current Twitter account, showing both a tweet that tagged her account and one that quote retweeted her talking about me. Even older tweets from the same account this tweet is from has tweets with her @ in them. It's just no longer blue. So that means this is photoshopped. I found this out after Slummers asked me about it on Discord, and I said it wasn't aimed at her, nor was it mocking her. Called someone claiming she couldn't do any wrong because of her sexual assault pathetic. Not Slummers, which means we now know we can add Photoshop tweets to the list of issues with this narrative.
Whether or not you're trolling, attacking trans people is not okay.
Attacking trans people. She's showing the tweets from July 17th, where people spammed my Twitter for disagreeing with a single person about the LGB alliance. And it turned into 9 different people coming after me. Literally the majority of her evidence is from that incident.
Whether or not you're trolling, absolutely none of the things that you've done in this video are okay.
I was just calling someone out isn't a justification for lying, using Photoshop screenshots, and taking things out of context to make me look bad. I was just defending a friend. It's not a justification for your slander and lies upon me, Kai, and Omnia. You chose to dive down that rabbit hole your friends made with no rope. This is not anyone else's fault but your own. She also claims that I was making claims in my Lucy video.
Especially when you go on to make these kind of claims.
We have a minor sharing child pornography to adults. We have adults sharing imagery of minor characters and even themselves. No, I was not. There were both minors and adults sending inappropriate images of their bodies. I'm sorry that I don't like seeing minors sexualized. Not really.
Since in this screenshot that I read earlier, you can see him lamenting over the fact that people aren't taking his claims against Fuchsia Butter seriously. But why would people take these claims seriously if you're just a troll? Are you a troll? Or are you somebody exposing terrible people?
No, it wasn't lamenting. In the video you used pieces from, I literally stated I knew it would bite him in the ass later, and it did. The bin drama, for example. So that's a lie. She also admits to making her video because I started to get a following.
Speaking of being taken seriously, another huge reason that I'm making this video is because unfortunately, this kid has started to gain some traction. He started to gain a few little cronies who want to participate in his harassment, as shown by everything I'm showing on screen right now. And that's not okay.
And yet claims I want to cancel people when I've only let the evidence out and watched what people did with it. And commonly troll. Uh-oh, someone who disagrees with me is getting a following? Let's slander them. Let's take a look at your own cronies. By your logic, I am now getting harassed. The very thing you seem so keen and against. This is essentially set up to be a trap, and I'm going to explain that now. In this video, she pushes that I am responsible for those that go out and call Slumber a guy, or all kinds of other comments that other people have done from my channel, pushing that I'm responsible for them. Which, if that's true, then please explain how you're not responsible for the individuals coming to me after you just slandered and lied on me. How are you not directly responsible for that? But she's going to say, oh, I don't condone this. I told them not to at the end of my video. I've never once said go to attack someone. I've never once told people to do that. So why exactly are you trying to hold me accountable for that? After all, this video is literally pushing the narrative by excluding all the details in between, like the white of an Oreo being removed. She claims I'm doing this for fun.
And the only thing that makes all of this worse is that he has admitted that he does all of this for fun. I'll make this entire community burn as a hobby. I'm hitting everything. Like what? You'll see. Can't spoil the fun, you know? Yes, it's fun to accuse people of being into underage character porn. It's fun to harass people for months. It's fun to mock somebody's abuse. It's fun to try to tear down friendships. He claims that he does all this for fun.
That I admitted it, but where? Your screenshot is from Vav and I's chats that Lucy tried to use in his thread, which is confirmed to be riddled with lies. And I was talking about Lucy's Discord. Lucy literally admitted that Alt was in his server. In the thread you stole both this point and screenshot from. Also says this.
Yes, it's fun to accuse people of being into underage character porn.
Which one, it wasn't an accusation, it was proven. 2, I never said me proving Lucy was into underage character porn was fun. Simply him getting what he deserves after starting drama is fun. She also shows a tweet to Doodles.
It's fun to harass people for months. It's fun to mock somebody's abuse. It's fun to try to tear down friendships. He claims that he does all this for fun.
So quote retweeting is harassment? You yourself have done this. So you harassed Kai and Omnia by your own logic.
It's fun to mock somebody's abuse.
Didn't mock her abuse. That's debunked.
It's fun to try to tear down friendships.
It was simply to stop Lucy from getting a larger audience from that collab. Unfortunately, Dumpsville doesn't seem to care his friend is into the sexualization of minor characters. I've also come to realize something. I don't want you guys to have less of an audience. I don't want you guys to stop having an audience. In fact, I want the exact opposite. The larger audience you have, the more people to watch you fall and burn.
He claims that he does all this for fun.
Does that mean I'm going to be nicer? No, absolutely not. This is fun. Nothing legitimate. You're right, I am having fun. This is fun, but don't take something out of context.
And then at the end, that's where the fun bits are. I'm going to go through everything that I found in that server that was pathetically sad, but also very funny. And I'm going to go through it all with you guys. And I got I have a lot of stuff. You guys are going to love it.
He does it because he wants to take people down, as he has admitted. And somebody who does that should never be taken seriously on this platform, especially when they're making videos like this.
Again, where did I claim I did all of that for fun? What I find fun is watching you all start something, but cry when it doesn't go your way. To watch you get what you dish out. What goes around always comes around, you sick cow. She's again claiming I admitted to wanting to just take people down. No, I want to take people like you down. By this cow's logic, it's fun to accuse people of harassing people solely because they express their scientific beliefs. It's fun to accuse people of harassment for confronting and calling you out on your shit. It's fun to play victim. It's fun to crop screenshots. It's fun to accuse a minor of sexual harassment and then bunch in those who came to defend a friend and get the evidence out there.
And that's not okay. Somebody who makes false accusations, takes things out of context, and exaggerates things to tear people down should not be taken seriously.
Taken seriously on this platform. If it's not clear enough, she's trying to convince the viewer not to take me seriously, because I've been successful in exposing them one by one. And it's oh so convenient that she started hinting to this video right after I added her with this about Toby Majestic on Twitter. She thinks that if people don't take me seriously, that it'll put a stop to them being ripped to pieces by us. But it won't. We don't rely on the public for their opinion or agreeance. We don't need them to agree with us. That's what they can't stand. We don't subscribe ourselves to a very weak-minded, pathetic need and craving to be liked, to be in a circle jerk with our fan base, and lack the ability to stand by anything you say or do. For example, the Kyan Omni situation. Toby saying she'd die on the hill of defending Shane Dawson, then to cripple when her fan base doesn't agree. Lucy removing his video on me and his video on Ben. They lack integrity. They're just hollow, and she doesn't want to be at risk. Unfortunately, Madlibbs, it's just too late.
And that's not okay. Somebody who makes false accusations, takes things out of context, and exaggerates things to tear people down should not be taken seriously.
Somebody who makes false accusations, takes things out of context to tear people down, should not be taken seriously. The hypocrisy and irony in such a statement. It is so sweet. This video's goal is to take me down. However, let's apply that context to you. You made an accusation that I am responsible for the hacking of her PayPal when the evidence you have is coincidence. You claim I've gone out of my way to harass people when I've either debated or retaliated against you all coming after me. Yet you play victim when you're at risk, or cropping screenshots to fit a fucking narrative. Pro tip, don't run your mouth about someone, then when confronted, pussy out and play victim. I'm not saying you can't run your mouth. I'm saying quit being a cowardice professional victim at every turn. Oh wait, you're doing that with the Toby shit too. Now she's claiming I'm debunking Toby's points with guilty by association.
One of the ways that he likes to quote-unquote call people out for hypocrisy is through mere association alone. For example, a while back, my friend Toby called out another artist known as Ben the Looney for being a creep because one of his favorite things to draw is porn of 10-year-old characters. Which, first of all, ew. Ben, you fucking freak. What is wrong with you? Now, Akumu tried to debunk her accusation because she knows Fuchsia Butter, somebody who Akumu has decided that he exposed for underage character porn, which is bullshit, and we'll get into why in Lucy's segment. But wait, aren't you literally friends with Fuchsia, who I literally exposed for underage character porn?
What? Claiming I'm doing it when she just did it. Toby tried to call out Ben for making underage character porn, but she also did it, making her also a creep. Also, how is 14 and 16 okay to you, but 10 is gross? The fuck? I wasn't debunking Toby's points. I was pointing out the fact Toby is a friend with Fuchsia Butters and Toasty, who also likes underage character porn. Yet she threatened and blackmailed Trent, one-man show-off, for being friends with Ben. Also, Toasty and Toby were literally going to team up for a video on Ben. That's excluding the fact Toby has literally done underage character porn herself.
Which is interesting because here he is on Twitter asking for Ben the Looney's Discord. If he's so against underage character porn and knowing people who even consume it, as he put it, why is he asking for the Discord of somebody who draws it? Now, some people could argue that he was asking for this Discord so that he could troll Ben or something like that, which would make sense considering that Akumu claims to be a troll, but that doesn't excuse this next part.
I did ask for Ben the Looney's Discord, because someone you know contacted me telling me he had evidence on the matter. Even in I and Ben's chats, I was skeptical until he provided evidence and even told him I disagreed with what he does. And when he did lie to me, I called it out and he blocked me. My point wasn't simply, you associate with this person so you're bad. My point was, hey Toby, you're threatening someone for being friends with a person into something gross, but you have two friends who are into the same thing. She shows screenshots of Lugia telling Slumber we're friends.
Now, as we've just established, Akumu is friends and aligns with multiple doxers.
Apparently he told Slumbers this too. She asked me about it and I have explained how I barely know the guy, that he and I know little about one another and only occasionally talked. The same thing goes for Sherman. I don't know them, and I haven't asked either of them to dox anyone. Yet I am apparently guilty by association, which is just hypocritical of Madlibbs, which is even more ironic because she's trying her absolute hardest to call me a hypocrite. Then goes on to mention the fact someone falsely doxed me and how our Discord server doesn't allow doxing to take place within it, as some attempt to back her claim of hypocrisy.
However, he says in his server, through an alt account of course, that he doesn't approve of doxing. And in a video about fuchsia butter, he goes off for a couple minutes about how awful somebody in Lucy's server was because they threatened to dox his IP.
Pronouns. Kuro, aka Maximus, was entirely open and admitting that they supposedly had been looking at my private information. And with me using a VPN, a paid VPN, Demon would have had to break into server data from said VPN. So even as a mere threat, that is a very serious crime. Fuchsia didn't ban the person until his own damn staff had to hammer the seriousness of the threats in. In Fuchsia's eyes, it's just an IP.
If he's so against doxing, and the person in Lucy's server is terrible because they tried to dox him, then why is he close with multiple doxers?
The issue with this is, we haven't had doxing in our server. No one has doxed in our server. Actual hypocrisy would have been us allowing people to dox others in our server when the rule says no doxing. You would have been better off faking screenshots again than doing this.
You aren't the only one to try and call out these nasty-ass people. I called out a dude who was into underage character porn, had child porn in his server, adults and underage people sending inappropriate images, and tried to rationalize underage character porn. People don't care. This is referring to Lucy.
July 17th, me talking about Lucy, the person who literally had a server of people running their mouth and made a thread lying his ass off. I want to see an example of a lie which even he contradicted in his own server. On June 9th, 6:58 p.m., he states, his biggest thing is he keeps trying to push that I like, protect, or support pedophilia content. His evidence? Me not noticing that someone posted lolicon in the NSFW section of my Discord server. I didn't notice because I don't look in the NSFW channel. But prior to this, he states on Discord, the same day mind you, June 9th, 4:35 p.m., I'm very confused because even if they're coming from Akumu's video, Akumu never said I like child porn, because I don't, and it wouldn't be true if he said it. He also lied about not being in the NSFW channel, as we caught him in there with screenshots. Later in this segment, she tries to use me telling people to keep my name out of their mouth as a means of hypocrisy.
There's another big one. One of Akumu's phrases he likes to use is keep my name out of your mouth. In fact, he went after Miss Zizi and Fuchsia Butter, again, apparently DMing them to voice chat with him because Lucy mentioned his name a couple of times in a video that was released a few days prior. A video that has nothing to do with him. Literally, the mere mention of his name is enough to set him off.
Even sounds like Akumu. Damn it. This kid, he talks like Akumu, and it pisses me off because it's the same condescending bullshit. He's talking out his ass so hard.
But wait, if he truly believes in the whole keep my name out of your mouth thing, then why is it okay for him to run around and talk about all of the people that he wants to keep his name out of their mouth?
But she strips the context. She doesn't mention the fact I tell this to people who either block, play victim, or shit talk when someone's not around, but won't when they are. Examples being Lucy, who did so constantly. An example Madlibbs tries to use is when I contacted Lucy and Zizi, because I was brought up in a video that had nothing to do with me. I gave Zizi an opportunity to say what she wanted. I gave Lucy that opportunity. She didn't. He didn't. I'm not a pussy who runs from confrontation after shit talking. You all ran your mouth, yet blocked when confronted, both on Twitter and Discord. When I offered a VC or show up, you all refused. Now this is from Lucy's segment, but it's her trying to claim hypocrisy again.
Oh, good for him. Hey, off topic, did you guys know that Akumu has his own server? Why, with all this huge talk about how horrible Lucy's server is, I'm sure that his is just pretty as a peach, with no horrible things or sex jokes or inappropriate talk to speak of. Why don't we read a few screenshots that have been sent in to me by some very lovely people who will remain nameless. Quick content warning before I read these. They contain a lot of slurs. They're censored slurs, of course, but they are slurs nonetheless. Rat rape, hell yeah. Shut up, nigga. Hashtag searching burn the nigga. Let me talk and get my other free. Stands equals use for rats. I need my rat emote. They also have this emote in the server, which was titled, and this is because it is, of course, a very stereotypical and disgusting depiction of a Jewish person. Sexual assault. I invited you to that server. I'm gonna accuse you of rape, Silver. Yikes. Considering the fact that Akumu is a minor, and I'm sure that many people in this server are minors, I'm not sure why he's coming after Lucy for having inappropriate things and sex jokes in the main chat, when his main chat is full of this.
She attempts to use me pointing out the issues in Lucy's server and reverse it by heavily stretching. She starts off by mentioning people using slurs in my video. But when did I ever mention racist jokes and slurs in Lucy's server? The issue here is she doesn't mention the fact that these people were punished and their shit removed. Then she brings up the Jew emoji. So let's get into that. Now, when you're making a video of this magnitude, with this many people, and with this many attempts at points, you want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Otherwise, someone who's in the video could negatively affect the points being made within it, or an action you've done could easily affect the points you make, such as contradictions or hypocrisies which don't logically piece together. This happens several times throughout her video, the first time being her claim that Slummers is a victim of this grand harassment of mine, and that I'm still out to get her. Which, if true, why in the world would you send the supposed victim to her supposed harasser to interact? But for right now, it's currently the racist thing said in the Jew emoji. Two things. They have had access to my server through spies, which is fine, but that also means they had access to this info. That info being the fact that people were punished and those individuals removed, and the fact that it was deleted. On this video, she also admits to deleting a bunch of shit the day this video came out, but also called me out for it, which is double hypocrisy.
Knows how to attack. Let's go over the problems in mine. Now, my Discord server used to be a cesspool of slurs and gross shit in the main chat, and it was horrible. There was no excuse for it to go on as long as it did. However, as of today, I have banned the people responsible, I talked to the mods responsible, I demodded a couple people who were not being very good mods, or they were saying slurs and whatnot. I cleaned everything up as best I could. There's some sex jokes in my main chat, because apparently that's a sin now.
Now this is a warning because some people don't tolerate racist things. I'm not a pussy, so I'm going to say them. If you wish to not hear it, or can prepare yourself to take a listen and watch, let's continue on. You see, we removed several people prior to their video. Cryptid Dance was removed for constantly throwing around the word tranny and nigger, and his comments deleted, but they left that out because it didn't suit their points. Now, the Jew emoji. Just discussed, every member in the server can see our server's emojis, simply by clicking the emoji section and viewing it. You can see no Jew emoji. Now you might be wondering, then how else was the Jew emoji in the server? You see, Silver has Discord Nitro, which allows him to use emojis wherever he wants to. We've always been fine with racist jokes as long as they're obvious jokes, but Madlibbs clearly isn't. Why else would she use the points? She later on admits to having racist things in her server, but that's at the end of the video. Can anyone tell me why that is? It's obvious. If she admitted to having racist things said in her server the moment she was calling us out, it would show she's a hypocrite. One of the points in the video was trying to call me a hypocrite for sex jokes, and then taking a blatant joke made to Silver, the person the false sexual harassment claim was made on, and spins it.
Why don't we read a few screenshots that have been sent in to me by some very lovely people who will remain nameless. Quick content warning before I read these. They contain a lot of slurs. They're censored slurs, of course, but they are slurs nonetheless. Rat rape, hell yeah. Shut up, nigga. Hashtag searching burn the nigga. Let me talk and get my other free. Stands equals use for rats. I need my rat emote. They also have this emote in the server, which was titled, and this is because it is, of course, a very stereotypical and disgusting depiction of a Jewish person. Sexual assault. I invited you to that server. I'm gonna accuse you of rape, Silver. Yikes. Considering the fact that Akumu is a minor, and I'm sure that many people in this server are minors, I'm not sure why he's coming after Lucy for having inappropriate things and sex jokes in the main chat, when his main chat is full of this.
She does this by not telling you all who Silver is, as seen earlier when she tried to hide his @ Someone making a joke relating to the false claims made against Silver, which Silver found funny, is equal to the sexual shit that was in Lucy's server? Minors talking about their dildo, sharing images of their bodies? Yet she claims she isn't stretching. What a load of bullshit. Now on to ZZ, because oh boy, do we have a lot to unpack. You see, if racist jokes are such a bad thing, Madlibbs, so terrible, let's take a look at your friend's server. Also a tip, before trying to lock down your own server, you should probably have your friends follow through. Especially those who are going to be in the video. clean things up. However, no, you're a rank amateur. 7 pages dedicated to the word Jew. Plenty of jokes about Jews. And some racist jokes seep in too. Now, some discussions aren't racist jokes, but the majority is, and I'll prove that now. On the first page we have, "Is this why you hate the Jews?" Shut the fuck up, you are a Jew. Jews shouldn't exist, change my mind. Jews are parasites. I tried but only killed 6 million Jews instead. Yeah, kill them Jews. Yeah, kill them Jews, inshallah. That's not what the Jews said when they went into the ovens. Rebecca is a Jew. I feel like a greed Jew. And so you suck sand, nigger cock, and Jew cock. Got it. And this isn't even the worst page. On page 2, second mention of Jews. I prefer to be friends with a Jew than that subhuman. We gotta slaughter some Jews tonight. And sure, ZZ and Madlibbs could whip out the fact that server allows these jokes. But so does ours. I never got onto Lucy and his server for racist jokes either, yet she tries to use that. Madlibbs had racist shit in her own server. Now on to rape. There is 10 pages, a total of 228 results. Remember, a joke about making a false rape allegation is the big bad, the big sin. Well, we have people joking about raping one another. As said before, there are some serious discussions on this topic, but there are plenty of jokes too. Let's start on page 1, reading the jokes like prior. The only one that's going to be raped is you if you keep talking like that, Rob. JK, I hope it only spurs it on just to rape you harder as payback. Then again, if white women off themselves, who's the horde gonna rape? And there's 10 pages of it. I know what they'll try and do. 1, make a comment to provide context, yet that won't work because she ignores the context in her video. Or 2, make a video responding to do the same. Madlibbs, this is yet another time you stumble on your own foot and fall right back down the flight of stairs. She also goes on this tangent about my troll tweets.
Started what this was about. Because after all this happened, this guy Akumu decided to take it upon himself to quote-unquote even the scales, as he says. He kept tweeting about and replying to her saying that he wasn't going to stop until she received just as much hate as Madam did. You'll notice I blocked out the name of Slimmers, and that's because she changed it because of this harassment, and I don't want this asshole finding her new tag so that he can harass her some more. Slimmers tried to block him, but he kept coming back with his many alt accounts. This kept going and going.
And to that, I trolled Slimmers on one account, admitted I was trolling countless times. It's not my fault you all kept feeding into it. When you see a boiling pot of hot water and you know it's hot, but you stick your hand in it, do you blame the water or your own dumb decision? Secondly, you do realize I can search the text of the tweets up and find it if I really wanted to. But wait, if she's hiding her because I'm still after her, then why would she send her to spy on me?
Hey, off topic, did you guys know that Akumu has his own server? Why, with all this huge talk about how horrible Lucy's server is, I'm sure that his is just pretty as a peach, with no horrible things or sex jokes or inappropriate talk to speak of. Why don't we read a few screenshots that have been sent in to me by some very lovely people who will remain nameless.
She also claims that I was asking for the case number.
And at one point, he made a tweet asking for people to give him the case number of her assault, and he later claimed to actually have this case file.
But no, I already had it, and the county. I was asking if people had better access to records. Of course that was dumb. Cases such as those aren't available for the public to read. Also, she brings up the Photoshopped tweet from earlier.
This isn't the only time that he's brought up her assault for seemingly no reason. In a tweet that he tagged her in, he actually went on to mock it. Imagine being so stupid, such a waste of space, that you allow someone to be excused of mistakes based upon age and the fact that Daddy tried to have his pathetic fun. That is fucking disgusting.
And tries to run with it again. This is like the 3rd time that's been brought up and shown in this video. She also uses me getting attacked by several people and defending myself on September 17th as evidence of me attacking trans people, twice in this video to push this narrative. The Cal then says me using their own logic against them is cringy.
First of all, hearing somebody talk about evening the scales and punishing people out loud is very cringy and very hilarious.
Which was the point of that segment. Your community preaches platform this, platform that, cancel this, cancel that. And the moment it's reversed in the situation, you go batshit crazy. Also, who is she to call shit cringy when she made 2 videos in total 38 minutes just to explain that she's a lesbian? Or if that's not enough, a 26-minute and 22-second video about summoning creepypastas. She was also talking about consequences for actions and excuses for whatever grand sin she thinks I've committed, literally in this same video.
This is not an excuse. Trolling is not a catch-all to avoid consequences for everything you've ever done. Whether or not you're trolling, creating alts to harass somebody is not okay. Whether or not you're trolling, mocking somebody's assault to their face is not okay. Whether or not you're trolling, attacking trans people is not okay. Whether or not you're trolling, absolutely none of the things that you've done in this video are okay. I was just trolling is not an acceptable excuse or explanation for this kind of behavior.
In the previous segment, I think I've made my point. Next, she then claims I am continuing to go after Slimmers and shows a tweet from July where I literally stated I wasn't out to get her.
And you'd think that this is where it ends, but no. He kept going after Slimmers periodically for months and months, as you can see by the dates on the screenshots I'm showing. And he's still going after her to this day. He started tweeting and tagging her with a new alt in June of this year. Keep in mind, this whole thing started in September of last year. And even after all this, he has the gall to say that he dropped the situation and moved on because of this.
But I suspect it's because I recently tagged Slimmers in 2 tweets, followed her, liked, and retweeted her art. If I had a hate boner, why would I tell her I wasn't there to terrorize? That we both said some things to one another and I didn't take it to heart. If anything, that's just me trying to move on. So, if I am still out to get Slimmers, like you said, why would you tell her to come to my server to spy? Why would you let her? Why else hide the fact she gave you screenshots from my server?
Why don't we read a few screenshots that have been sent in to me by some very lovely people who will remain nameless?
It's quite obvious. If she mentioned that she had Slimmers gather screenshots for her, it would contradict her point of me still looking to continue this supposed harassment. One of the most useless segments in this video, along with Junkie and ZZ's. In this one, she mentions the Slimmers tweet for the 4th time.
It wasn't serious at all. That is until I discovered the tweets about him mocking Slimmers' assault and claiming to have her case number for her report of the incident.
Which back then I didn't even know was photoshopped. It wasn't until I looked for that tweet specifically during my time editing this that I found out. She also keeps hammering, doesn't refute.
Besides this one where it's acknowledged that he's been doing this for 7 months by the point this comment was made, and he does not refute it. I will go on to read that for you. I made a post about my comic and he said, "Ew, imagine using Webtoon." And I said, "Alright, I'll finally bite since you clearly want my attention so bad. What's your deal? It's been 7 months since my video on you and all I did was read your words. Why are you still here? What are you getting out of this? Do you need to talk?" In his response, where he doesn't refute that he's been doing this for 7 months, he says, "I'm literally subscribed. Me commenting means I want attention, and you have a lot of people that want attention. Such flawed logic is ridiculous. I'm not mad about your video. It's fucking hilarious. It expresses me trolling so damn well. Just don't align with blatant idiots, let alone the fact you're using Webtoon. That is a massive disappointment. It's quite literally one of the worst webcomic apps in existence, containing several bad manhwa in itself."
Just because it wasn't refuted doesn't mean it's inherently true. She also does this with the Nezzy segment. I did occasionally poke around her channel to fuck with her, and I was subscribed to her before I found out she was associated with Lucy in the FCK, one of its members. She makes the claim that I joined her stream to make fun of Lucy for being trans.
The reason that I don't have screenshots of all the other times he's done this is because, as I said in the edited version of my comment, I had to hide him on the channel after he showed up in a live stream to mock my friend Lucy, aka Fuchsia Butter, for being trans.
Which, no, I didn't. I was just casually enjoying the stream, and then Lucy referred to his testicles as ladyballs, which is what I made fun of. Then they brought up gender and turned it into a debate, with them crying over pronouns. Madlibbs admits to deleting stream.
However, he decided to come back with multiple alt accounts, which you can see in my hidden channels list, so that he could spam my chat and argue about Lucy's gender. Unfortunately, I deleted that stream because I delete almost all of my streams. I think the only one that I haven't deleted is my Halloween one.
But wait. You delete comments, you delete streams. Lucy deletes comments, videos like the one on me or Ben, and tweets like this one containing underage character porn of Azula. Toby deleted her posts of underage character porn, Todoroki and Sailor Moon. Toasty wiped his Twitter entirely of the Ben situation. Nezzy deleted the fact Silver was in her server, So why is it when I allegedly deleted shit, it's bad, but you all can fucking do it? She then cries about the DMs where, yes, I contacted her because Nezzy was trying to avoid confrontation.
In fact, as of recording this, he DM'd me on the 16th of September because I was in a live stream with 2 people that he didn't like. I hadn't talked about him. I hadn't even addressed him. The only thing I addressed was Sherman in the chat because he was doing his classic trying to dox people thing.
Toby and Junkie kept attempting to mute. Then she goes on and claims I tried to expose Lucy.
DM'd me. On June 6, I retweeted my friend Fuchsia Butter's statement against him after he tried to expose her in a video of his.
I didn't try. I simply did.
Do or do not. There is no try.
She ran her mouth, so yes, I was going to come and confront her. If you don't want confrontation or can't handle it, don't run your mouth about me. It's simple. Don't do the action if you know it will result in something you don't like happening. You supporting your friend who was called out for horrible things has resulted in things you don't like happening. It's simple. Quit doing it if you know it doesn't end well. You did it here, and you did it with Toby. Madlibbs attempts to alter the past as a means of fitting her narrative. She starts off with crying about me calling Lucy a guy.
He also constantly refers to Lucy by he, him pronouns, so if you hear he, him, unfortunately he is referring to Lucy.
Which my response to that is,
well, she's a guy, so...
Also claims Lucy doesn't want to participate in her train wreck of a video because of drama and harassment.
Now Lucy, aka Fuchsia Butter, has decided that she didn't want to be part of this video because she's sworn off YouTube drama and she just doesn't want to touch this. So I'm going to be talking about this situation instead because this one especially needs to be talked about. Now shortly after my video on Akumu, Fuchsia Butter decided that she was going to make a video on him as well, one discussing a lot more serious stuff that he's done, whereas mine was just reading tweets. The video has since been unlisted due to all of this drama and harassment.
You mean retaliation and getting called out. Also claims that I tried to refute things, like the transphobia claim.
However, back when it was still up, Akumu decided to make a response to it. Now this video is mostly just him trying to refute everything that she said about him, like how he's not transphobic, he just won't do what trans people want, aka using the proper pronouns.
But I didn't try, I simply did it.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Also, this cow doesn't realize the title isn't literal. It was the end of Lucy being able to be publicly invested in drama, essentially neutralizing him. Which he did reap what he sowed in the bin drama. It will most likely happen again. Why? He lies, he's a hypocrite, and he only proved those points further in the bin drama. He did it out of spite, and even after the content Nagasaki, he continued to lie in his threat. Madlibbs tries to push the idea that I called Lucy a pedophile several times.
After he goes on about the not safe for work chats, he moves on to a worst accusation, and coincidentally the one that he likes to bring up the most outside of YouTube. Akumu tries to claim that Lucy is a pedophile. Canon. Now I know that some people, including Akumu, are going to try to claim that I'm reaching, because he never outright says Lucy's a pedophile, and he even says in a video that he doesn't think that she touches children, as he said. However, something he loves to do is go around on Twitter claiming that Lucy is into underage character porn. I think that we all know exactly what that's implying. I think that we all know the effect that Akumu is trying to have on this. Now, I will admit that this is speculation. There is no evidence anywhere of Akumu saying that he wants people to think Lucy is a pedophile. But leaving out the fact that Lucy liked a 17-year-old character and that she's 18, and just saying underage character porn, that is shady, and I would not be surprised if there was a screenshot out there of him saying that he wants people to think Lucy is a pedophile.
Segment, she pushes that the Chris Hansen skit was somehow claiming Lucy was a pedo. But no, if it was, why didn't I place our faces over theirs?
And after this, he ends it on a Chris Hansen skit mocking Lucy.
Explain to me why you came to a minor's house, a 15-year-old girl's house, as an adult.
But remember guys, he's not saying that Lucy's a pedophile.
I simply took his logic of big boobs meant adult when defending on the underage character porn and applied it to that scenario. She also tries to twist my words and claim that I accused Lucy of being a pedophile several times. If her view is someone who enjoys images of minor characters being sexualized in art, makes them a pedophile immediately, this is Toby's argument that bit her in the ass, then yes, by her logic, she would be a pedophile. It's her own logic that claims that, not mine. I outright said Lucy wasn't a pedophile, and Lucy himself has acknowledged, making your entire point null and void. Toby tried to claim Kai and Omnia were calling her a pedophile. Toasty tried to claim that. Nezzy tried to claim I called Lucy that. It's just a means for them to demonize the argument and try and escape criticism. Claims Foxton continuing the drama set me off.
That is until Lucy collabed with Foxton the Freak Show, somebody else who made a video on Akumu, specifically one responding to his response of Lucy's video. Now in the second video, Lucy, Ms. Zizi, and Foxton the Freak Show read some of Akumu's comments on her video, and apparently that was enough to set him off because he left this comment. After that, he released the video Content Nagasaki.
Simply, I made a promise that if they continued, I would respond with an ultimate compilation. They continued on, so I kept my word. Madlibbs, if you see a big button that says, "Will blow up if pressed," would you press this button? When your hand is mangled, would you then blame the button or your own blatant stupidity? Madlibbs also focuses solely on the Naranancia image.
His evidence for this? Lucy liking porn of a 17-year-old anime character.
We even have Fushia admitting he enjoys artwork of Naranancia, a 17-year-old, a minor character, getting his chocolate starfish destroyed.
Do you guys want to know how old Lucy is? 18. Akumu tried to claim that Lucy is a horrible person who's into underage character porn, as he puts it, because she liked a character that is a year younger than her in canon.
And claims I never mentioned Lucy being a year older. But in the Content Nagasaki, 4 minutes and 25 seconds in, I said Lucy was 18. She also doesn't mention Lucy's justification in defense of the underage character porn, depicting the characters from My Hero Academia, sexualizing them. The images he defended had them in their school uniforms, freshmen. These are blatant minors, and the show itself is constantly reminding the viewer of that. Along with this, Lucy made a tweet with Azula, a 14-year-old character, in a bikini, or something resembling it, with the caption, "Step on me." Whilst I have the tweet screenshotted, I have since looked for it and I am unable to find it, suggesting he deleted the tweet. And considering he also deletes comments in YouTube videos, it goes against Madlibbs' hypocrisy attempt from before. The initial point being made is, she ignores these and focuses on the Naranancia because of the 1-year difference, because she knows she can slither her greasy Jabba the Hutt ass with this stretch. If the viewers aren't made aware of the full stuff. That's if. Now to end this segment, Fuchsia Butters or Lucy literally apologized to me in the DMs, admitting it was done out of spite after having found out the entire thing. I had no reason to bring Lucy up, but you just had to try and change history to fit your narrative. Madlibbs only digs her grave deeper with this segment, like calling me wanting an apology as me throwing a tantrum.
What hasn't been deleted, however, is his most recent little tantrum he's throwing at Nezzy, one that has been going on for about a month now. And guess what he's doing now? That's right, spreading false allegations. And what false allegations is he spreading about Nezzy? That she spreads false allegations. Allow me to explain.
By that logic, the video I'm covering would be her and her group throwing a tantrum, which is only fitting considering they're playing victim. Alright, so let's cover this whole false sexual harassment claim. They have been talking for some time. I can't tell you the precise day the messages started because Silver has since deleted the DMs, but I can show you this. The earliest messages we have, and this is before the photo is sent, is June 11th. The image was sent to the person on June 30th. Now, one of their claims is that they didn't ask for it. Well, that's not necessarily true. While she didn't ask for the photo, she did say send here. And so we did. The image is literally censored with Yoshi's. And that's not even us censoring it. He censored it. Hence the message, nips are $3. She proceeded to compliment him. That's not something you do when it makes you uncomfortable. She clearly had no issue with it. She also willingly sent images of her face. Not once, but twice. We have blurred the image not because they're a victim, but I don't want to drag them into drama. In one of the messages, she even states, "I love that you are now showing yourself off." On the same day, just after he sends some artwork of her name, where he is also shirtless and wrapped in Christmas lights. There is not one mention of her being uncomfortable with the photo or the fact he sent it. Keep this in mind for later. I should also note, Silver was not a member of Nezzy's server at the time when he had sent that image. Neither of them were.
This was a closed incident within my server.
July 1st, still friendly with one another. July 11th, the two are still open and friendly with one another. This day, she even opens up about some things I am not going to discuss, but they have to do with suicide. I won't say anything further. We have screenshots of them being friendly for quite some time. She even offers to buy him Dead by Daylight on July 20th. This is also the same day she tells me she trusts him with her life. She even spams him on July 30th wanting to VC with him. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying she clearly wasn't uncomfortable. They even sent him their NSFW, which we will be blurring because obviously it's an SFW. We're obviously gonna fucking blur that. What the fuck? Now it's around August 20th that we begin to see the two have issues. We have screenshots, but I can't censor them enough to not drag that person in. It's personal for both. The two quit talking and agreed to no longer talk to one another. We know the other person involved joined Nezi's server August 22nd, and we know Silver was barely there for a day and he had woken up to being banned. This means he joined the 23rd, because the announcement was made on August 24th at 9:24 a.m. They were claiming he sexually harassed her for sending the shirtless censored image. They didn't ask him for his side of the story whatsoever. You might be wondering, why didn't we take these screenshots to Nezi directly? We did exactly that. Almost every single one of us joined to defend our friend, and I personally messaged Nezi, bringing the screenshots to her attention. She was presented the evidence and even came to the realization she made a mistake. She even says, "I will talk to blank and reconsider the ban then. Thank you for coming to me with this. I thought I could trust her and she sent me evidence." It wasn't until Nezi asked if it was me, Akumu, that she then brought up the Fuchsia Butter situation, Lucy, and reverted her argument back to before. Almost as if it being me, she couldn't handle the fact I was right. Now after we confronted them, they made a second public announcement in the Discord, claiming the sexual harassment had been done by all of us, that we all participated, and that they had relations with me. To this very day, Nezi Monster stands with it being sexual harassment because it supposedly made the person uncomfortable, and we apparently can't determine or tell someone if they are or aren't uncomfortable with it. The issue with that is they complimented his body in the image. They sent images of their face. They spammed him for a VC. They even told me that they trusted him with their life after the image was sent. We asked the person why they didn't tell him they were uncomfortable with it, yet they complimented the image, but ignoring that, they said they don't tell people when they're uncomfortable. But that's not true at all. We have screenshots of them admitting to being uncomfortable about something else to Silver. Silver's alleged victim told us that she only told Nezi she was uncomfortable, which if true, this means Nezi chalked it up to be sexual harassment. So either Nezi chalked it up to be sexual harassment on her own volition, and considering she clearly knew he associated with me, that means it's being pushed for blatant malice intent. Why else would she change up how it's sexual harassment? One minute he's continuing to flirt and she supposedly told him to stop, that he sent unsolicited images when she said send here, and the next minute she was uncomfortable 2 months after it happened. Nezi also told us a supposed victim came to her about this. Both of them joined Nezi's server after August 20th when they agreed to no longer talk to one another. So either Nezi is pushing its sexual harassment on her own, when the supposed victim clearly doesn't agree with this, and considering Nezi was given access to the screenshots that debunk all of her claims about this situation, just to make us look bad, or the supposed victim who Nezi is close with is lying to us, which we have evidence backing either of these theories. It's only a matter of who the FCK throws under the bus this time, the supposed victim or Nezi and Madlibbs. Only time will tell, but it's got me on the edge of my seat. The commentary community cannibalism is a sight to see.
Here's him talking to a friend about this whole situation. "I also can't understand why you would send shirtless pics when she never asked, other than trying to impress somehow. Sent them to friends and they said I was fit, felt body positive, and girls like that, so I sent." So he does not deny that she did not want these photos, which is awfully interesting considering Akumu has been running around telling people that the person his friend sent these to wanted it, reciprocated, and shared her not safe for work art with him after those images of himself were sent. Would you guys like to see his evidence of this? His evidence are screenshots from July and August showing that they were friends and that she trusts him. Do I make you feel safe, confident, or what? Yeah, you can be here. I might take a nap though. Yeah, you do. I left your server, haha. We weren't even friends. Oh, do you want to be? Sure, since you're friends with Redacted, and I trust that dude with my life. Because being friends with somebody definitely means you want their shirtless photos. You're not allowed to be uncomfortable if a friend sends you said pictures, because they're your friend. Yet another list of lies to add onto Akumu's little record. Let's watch them scroll by, shall we? Also, can I add something here while these scroll by? Even if this person didn't seem uncomfortable or even did reciprocate at the time, which Akumu has given no evidence for, that doesn't mean that they're banned from ever looking back on the situation and being made uncomfortable. Not saying no does not mean I'm not uncomfortable right now.
Madlibbs. Because he didn't deny that she supposedly didn't want it, that somehow means he acknowledges it?
And saying yes once after the pictures were sent, mind you. Because again, he admitted right there that she did not want the photos.
Where? The issue here is, no it isn't. Just because you don't deny something doesn't make it true. But furthermore, you guys want to know something interesting? Nezzy Monster was literally sent the screenshot where the person says, send here. Yet Madlibbs doesn't put it in the video, but she got her screenshots from Nezzy. Interesting. She also tries to claim, with a generalization, that I claimed them once being friends meant she couldn't be uncomfortable. I simply said her actions disproved it. That's like saying if someone can have consensual sex with someone else, but after a breakup they feel uncomfortable that they had sex with them, they can then say it's rape. It's a terrible fucking logic. You're so hung up on this, did she ask for it? Did she ask for it? To fit the narrative when she literally told him to send it. He didn't just suddenly send that out of the blue. This whole narrative of, she never asked for the photo. She quite literally stated send here. She didn't ask for it, she simply told him to send it. That is not sexual harassment. The fact you all tried to pull this shit when you had access to the screenshot, disproving it, is absolutely fucking disgusting. The very fact you would even try this, Madlibbs, is fucking disgusting. You want to preach morality, yet you tried to push the same fucking bullshit lies about my friend to try and affect me. The sheer fucking balls and spite to do that is disgusting. You are a gross, slimy hut of a cow. Also claims this took place in Nezzy's server, but no, the incident didn't take place in their server, only the aftermath as discussed. He didn't break your rules because it never happened in your server. Neither of them were in your server when it happened. They both joined in August. It happened in June. Now the doodle clone Slumber. Slumber does an array of things in his segment. He lies.
Oh, and also he's friends with somebody in the UGTP, which, if you didn't know, is a group that doxes people, so that's fucking great. So, Akumu's associates don't look good. Akumu as a person doesn't look good.
You serious?
Admits to starting the drama with me.
Yes, I did kind of start a drama with you. So if you want to say it's my fault, go off, I guess, even though you really didn't have to fucking respond.
And of course, cries over pronouns.
Especially since you want to call me he every second of the day. And then you want to be friends with people who go to trans girl me's comment section and say that you are a guy. Just for literally no fucking reason.
Well, she's a guy, so...
And even claims his commentary on me was good.
I replied to that with a good commentary, in my opinion anyway.
No, it wasn't. The day that video is good is the day Dan Stein actually has points. Unfortunately, nothing different than the usual slumber behavior, so let's get into it. First, he claims I threatened him with downloading his videos.
So, a while back, I announced that I was going to be shifting over to a complete text-to-speech channel. I wasn't gonna have my voice in any of my videos. Then he threatens to download them all. That's just great. Like, okay, so I'm insecure about my voice. I talk about you negatively, and your solution is to download them, which implies that you're gonna re-upload them with my voice, making the problem even greater.
When I simply said I would, and I did. I archived a lot of stuff. He also admitted to archiving other people's videos. So why exactly is me doing it the big bad? Then he claims I told Shinjin to raid a server.
Not only that, but I've been having to deal with people threatening to raid my Discord server on Akumu's behalf.
But I never did. In fact, Slumber knows this, because he contacted me some time ago to ask if I was responsible or condoned it, and I told him no. Shinjin does his own thing, let alone the fact before it raided, I told Shinjin not to do it. If I wanted to raid your server, I would do it myself. Now Slumber is a victim of my harassment, like Madlibbs would push. Why the fuck has he continuously interacted with his harasser before and after they attempted to call them out?
Especially since you want to call me he every second of the day. And then you want to be friends with people who go to trans girl me's comment section and say that you are a guy. Just for literally no fucking reason.
for no reason, let's take a look at your no reason comments. Here he is commenting on videos that have nothing to do with him. Oh, but wait, if we do it, he deletes them and complains about it. But wait, isn't deleting stuff the big bad? Well, Slumber deletes comments, videos, and his entire Twitter account. Slumber claims I can't determine what is and isn't transphobic because I'm not trans.
Oh, and before you give me this argument that it's not transphobic to misgender or claim that people are their birth gender just because they were born that way, it's not how transphobia works. You don't decide for minorities what is best for them, Akumu. You aren't even part of the LGBT community. In short, my experience with Akumu hasn't been very good. He likes to correct me whenever I try to correct him, misgendering me. So do his associates. Overall, Akumu, you're really just like, you're chilling VCs, but God, dude, you have such a shitty persona, like, outside of that. I really hope you grow out of that, because
Well, she's a guy, so...
Unfortunately, no. Things have definitions to define something. So that when you see it or hear it, it can be defined. You can determine it. Just because a black person claims something is inherently racist doesn't make it true and that you can't question it. You act as if your word is fact and cannot be denied. Yet you have tried to claim I have. Just because someone doesn't agree with your ideology and doesn't want to indulge it doesn't mean they hate you. It doesn't mean you can try and berate them into doing so. Like a pathetic child in a tantrum telling their parents it's oppression if they don't buy them something. Accept the fact that not everyone is going to indulge your every whim and tantrum just because of your own insecurities. No one needs to baby and coddle you, you massive weeping man-child. Not only that, but by your own logic, you've done the very thing you claim I have. You literally tried to tell 3 individuals who are black, well, I'm half, who can and can't use the N-word. You did that in Fractured Light server. We even told you we didn't mind you saying it at all if you weren't going to use it in a racist context. We told you to do so because we don't care, yet you tried to tell us that only black people can say it? Telling us who can and can't say it. You're a hypocrite. You can't just go throwing around phobes and isms around. Your logic is me not doing what you want is oppressing you. Like I said, like that of an entitled child telling their parents that it's oppression because they won't buy them something. You aren't entitled to anything. Just because I don't agree with you and I won't do something you want doesn't mean you can claim I hate you. Prejudice would be judging you by solely being trans, which all of these interactions, for example, the 2 pity tweets was literally those individuals showing their personality. Either do what I want or it's slander. If we don't agree, we have to hate one another. He also claims I'm a shitty person, yet he literally ran his mouth about me a month before I knew of his existence in 2 different streams about Dan Stein. He made a rant dedicated to me because he got reminded of my existence, yet he clearly knew of me. He went out of his way to continue to try and slander me out of pure spite because of, pronouns. He has lied on me several times, edited his own wiki to have bias against me. He decided to participate in a last-ditch effort video to take me down out of pure spite, and literally threw a tantrum at 3 a.m. on me and his own friends. Why did he spurg on his friends? Because they didn't want to keep pestering someone named Kai Kunai. He claims I'm the one that needs to do self-reflection.
to do some serious, like, self-reflection.
All because of some mean comment trolling, calling out underage character porn and pronouns. The irony in such a statement. I don't have bipolar episodes where I spurg on anyone around me, including my own friends. It's not the only time you've lost your shit. I don't start drama and then cry because it doesn't go my way. ZZ and Junkie. These 2 will be a joint segment, considering they're both basically on the bench, and there's not much to correct. She kicked out my friend for allegations which aren't true.
I kicked out one of said friends due to allegations of sexual harassment.
Hence why I contacted her. She did not ask for both sides of the story, instead resorted it to, I did it because he associates with you. ZZ then starts to cry because I made fun of her for spurging the DMs.
And no joke, almost immediately, Akumu contacted me and tried to explain to me that his friend did nothing wrong. So, here's the thing. I was pretty tired, and I was also doing something else that was pretty important at the moment, so I was not taking him seriously that night. I even got to the point where for 5 straight minutes, I argued with myself over what Splatoon idol is better. Meanwhile, he kept going on his tangent about how awful me and my friends are. I guess he eventually got tired of me ignoring him and began insulting me. Meanwhile, I was still there fangirling over Callie. I'm honestly so amazed that during that whole damn thing, you couldn't take a goddamn hint.
Which, if you don't want that, you shouldn't have done it. She also discusses when I first contacted her, when Lucy ran his mouth about me in a video that had nothing to do with me.
You get so upset at the sheer mention of you. I can't imagine being such a sad fucking individual where you're at a point in your life that you're stalking a bunch of people you hate and watching their every move on your 70+ accounts.
Which you were both contacted to make sure it was known that I would come and correct or confront you if it persisted. If you do not want confrontation, don't do the action that causes it. The issue is not the shit talking in general, it's the fact that you all can do it when someone's not around, but when you are confronted for it, you play victim. And the finest example of that is this video that I am covering. Now, Junkie's segment. He starts off by mentioning that I came to his channel stating, "Keep my name out of your mouth," and admits to deleting the video I commented on. Which just adds another person who deletes things, furthering the hypocrisy of Madlibbs.
The first time I ever got anything from Akumu that I can remember off the top of my head was like a comment he left on one of my videos that I think I deleted actually. I can't find it anywhere on my channel, so it might be because why I probably deleted the video. It was on the game sleuth situation. It's mainly because I deleted it because the video aged very badly and just wanted to get rid of it because I didn't go buy it anymore. Anyways, from what I remember, he left a comment saying, "Keep my name out of your mouth," and everything. And
however, he doesn't tell you why I did it. During the Lucy drama, when Lucy made that thread lying his ass off, he decided to run his mouth. Hence why I commented on his video. That was June, and I didn't have a Twitter at the time to confront him then. When I did obtain a Twitter, I did attempt to confront this obese scaly twice, but he ignored it, which she shows. It wasn't until September when I got a shit ton of people, Sage, the Mad Cow herself, and plenty more spurging with my copy pasta, that he again started running his mouth on me. The spurging I didn't mind at all, but once he started to speak on me, I needed to correct him, and he didn't like it so much. So we went back and forth. He even agrees it was funny.
from what I remember, it was something about how he pulled a Madara on the CC and how he took everyone down and they were all beneath him. Just some really, really edgy stuff. Well, I decided to join in on the fun and just copy-paste what he said as well on the on that little post, and it blew up a lot more than I expected. So much so that he actually saw the post and started arguing with me, calling me fat, ugly, I need to shave, that I look like, he even quoted that I mentioned that I looked like Al from Toy Story 2. I thought that was fucking funny.
He also seems to be very confused as to why I fixed it.
But I guess to get back to that copy pasta thing that the CC made for him, it apparently upset him so much that he went out of his way to try and fix it. That's when I just couldn't take him seriously.
I fixed it for two reasons. One, I wanted them to continue so that my folder of the spurging itself would grow. Two, I wanted it to be accurate to September. I just got done strangling Toasty, so of course it was bound for an update.
Because, think about it. He tries to put on this tough guy attitude towards so many creators, like he can't be taken down. But when someone pushes his buttons a little too far, he'll flip his lid like crazy.
Well, no, you can't take me down. Your way of going about it is just ineffective. You rely on people agreeing with you. You rely on others to propagate and agree with what you say and do at all times. Or you all change it immediately the moment there's a hint that your fan base won't agree. You rely on being liked, your video being liked. You're under the impression hate comments or video dislikes somehow make the points in the video no longer valid or not true. which is just pathetic. I don't rely on others to win. I don't rely on likes or being liked, and I don't abandon my views the moment people don't like them. It's shallow.
That was pretty much it.
I just want to make sure that everyone is crystal clear on knowing what they're going into. This segment and individual is very cancerous, very strange, very odd. If you have any medical bills after this regarding to some kind of cancer, I am not going to be paying for it. I just want you to be aware of that risk and the possibility of brain cells dying just from their stupidity. It's astonishing. Ah, Doodle Tones. I was honestly looking forward to this segment. Sean has a long history of trying to dive deep into a subject, but constantly stumbles. Although he's that one kid that tries to act like he does it on purpose, but you're painfully aware that it's bullshit. Sort of like Oblivion dialogue, but it's a tangent that unravels itself from the very beginning. He first tries to back his assumption of J.K. Rowling's books by claiming it's because of her other stances on trans people.
Anyway, so I guess this all started when I made a tweet about J.K. Rowling's new book, Troubled Blood, off the hashtag RIP J.K. Rowling, because I am a trans woman Potter fan. Yes, I'm aware that's an oxymoron. And I was interested to see why the fuck she was trending again. For those who aren't in the know, the book was described on pinknews.com as about a murderous cisgendered man who dresses as a woman to kill his victims. This apparently turned out later to be a little overblown, but as it was described, it was very akin to Norman Bates in Psycho, but connected to a TERF and their own beliefs, which is easy to see why one may come to the conclusion that this book was built around transphobia, considering some of her other stances on trans people.
You mean science. All I've seen so far is her science-based take. Debunking Sean's tangent. Transphobia is comparable to racism, prejudice, dislike, or hatred to all trans individuals for being trans. The issue is, I don't hate all trans people for being trans. I do have friends who can accept the fact I disagree with them without flailing, crying, and screaming oppression for not doing something they want, let alone disagreeing with them. Which I've had to express to some people lately, not all individuals who are trans try and force you to do what they want, and then berate you for doing it. Essentially, this supposed transphobic behavior is me calling a man, and calling him his name, which isn't hateful. I could call you Susie, it wouldn't make you a woman at all. Men can have feminine names, or be feminine. I call my car a car. I'll call my apartment an apartment. Just because you want to change the definition to fit your own personal beliefs doesn't mean I am forced to take part. You are entitled to absolutely nothing from no one. The sooner people realize that, the far better. If you take the logic he gives, you can easily watch it all fall apart when in action. Just because I disagree with someone who happens to be black doesn't mean I'm racist, and it doesn't mean I hate them. Just because I won't participate in religious tradition, doesn't mean I hate those who do. People can disagree without hating one another. Of course, with Sean's past in the commentary community, I'm not too surprised he can't realize that.
As I said, we have the dead naming. Merriam-Webster describes the verb of dead naming as to speak of or address someone by their dead name, which, on its own, is defined as the name that a transgender person was given at birth and no longer uses upon transitioning. This is even described on Dictionary.com, describes dead names as the birth name of someone who has changed it, with a direct reference sheet that claims it can be used to denigrate the gender expression of a transgender person, which basically implicates an unfair critique or outright disregard to a trans person's identity, which, by the definition we came to for transphobia just earlier, would be transphobic.
Oh boy, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Self-identification doesn't replace physiological reality. Whatever you want to tell yourself is your business, so don't make it mine. And don't try and force me to participate. Just because I want to call my Kia a Camaro doesn't mean I'm going to force someone else to participate in that. Things can be defined, and when you want to change the definition to feel better about yourself, do it. But don't try and force that definition onto me. It's not something I'm going to entertain. I also haven't claimed you don't exist. That is a very common and very broad statement. You exist as a human being in this universe on our tiny, useless speck of a planet. Claiming you don't exist would be utterly ridiculous, as you are literally in the video, Sean. Simply the claims you make aren't true, never were true, Just because someone claims something is true and it's not true, and people disagree and know it's not true, doesn't mean they're saying that person doesn't exist. Your personal beliefs about yourself aren't true. That doesn't mean you suddenly don't exist. You may believe, and I can disagree. Just because I disagree with someone who likes mushrooms on their pizza doesn't mean people who like mushrooms on their pizza suddenly don't exist. Just because I'm not religious doesn't mean religious people don't exist.
Now, with all that said, I do get where he's coming from. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't understand this kind of mindset. When he describes the original idea of gendered brains being a myth, that is technically correct. However, just because one theory to how trans people come to be was proven faulty, that doesn't intrinsically mean gender dysphoria is a baseless delusion that gives you the right to ignore one's identity outright.
Gender dysphoria, you believing you're the opposite gender. Yes, that exists. The belief you are the opposite is backed. You actually being the opposite or becoming what's desired, not so much. My views are based on statistics and a shit ton of biological information. Yours is based on how you feel about yourself. You would be the bigot. Your inability to accept the fact that not everyone else is going to indulge every whim. The constant insanity of claiming I hate you. It's not that I actually do hate you. You actively want me to look like I do hate any and all like you. Solely because I won't participate in whatever belief you have about yourself. It's insanity to keep doing this over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. To constantly try a path shown to eat you alive because you're unable to come to terms that not everyone is going to cave in with your little tantrums over some personal identity you have. Not everyone is going to coddle you and lie to you just so you can feel good about yourself. It's irrational to constantly spurg and cry over some pronouns, to throw some tantrums and claim you're being attacked just because they don't do what you want. It's not going to happen. When push comes to shove, you will fail. Accept that not everyone is going to indulge your personal view of yourself, then try this again. Diaper Boy then mentions the fact that I've never interacted with him before.
I do want to point out again that I myself had previously, before this whole Twitter debacle started, never interacted with the dude. He has virtually no reason to come at me the way he did. Like, one could argue with Fuchsia Butter, as there was a video directly made on him to respond to. With me, I don't know, the dude just doesn't like me, I guess.
And that is true. You and I did not interact, so I'll provide some context. Out of all these people in the video, that is true. Sean didn't run his mouth about me, and that wasn't my issue at all. I want to make that 100% clear. That is not my issue with Sean. You were going to be a part of the original Order 66 video, so I did some digging. A lot of it, actually. All over the internet and YouTube. Sean even mentions these possible other reasons. He also tries to claim hypocrisy. How did he put it? Effectively hypocritical reasons.
I've seen him bring up possible other reasons, but given the fact that he dislikes Kiwi Farms for effectively hypocritical reasons...
I don't dislike Kiwi Farms. It's just a bad batch of trolls that can very easily fall for other trolls. Unless you refer to me bringing up the actual real transphobia on it, like calling you slurs. Unfortunately, that's not hypocrisy. They're generally good for actually storing information and archiving. Occasionally, seeing as it's a collective group, you will have those that are just not on that bright end. Oh, and he finally admits after so long that it was a fetish. But he also tries to rationalize something that's sick with, I was just trying to escape. Diaper fantasies to escape, let alone with underage characters.
So basically, the use of fetishism on my DeviantArt account as a whole, back in like 2012, 2013 to 2016, was used as an escape from an otherwise very stressful time in my life.
Doodle Diapers tries to correct me about his own hypocrisy in the jar video, but he literally complained about him doing a robot voice, whilst he edits his own voice by upping the pitch.
Brings up my Just a Robot commentary from 2016, and specifically how I called out his robot voice whilst I edit my own voice, which, A, wasn't the point of that interjection. That was specifically to critique his line delivery, and I have pointed out how my wording implies that in a few videos now.
He even also claims that he didn't know Ben did underage character porn.
So, he brings up Ben the Looney and how I didn't intrinsically believe him to be a pedophile when people were spreading around the presumption that he was. This is more of a deep cut and, dare I say, an original complaint about me. However, at the time, the evidence that supported that presumption was flimsy at best and doesn't even fully reflect my opinion of the guy now. But I suppose that's a conversation for another day.
Bull fucking shit, and here's why. You were literally discussing a video that discusses the fact it's underage character porn. How did you put it? bends more open ideals to pornography. Shut the fuck up. You aren't changing history. He also tries to claim that I said what's happening to him is deserved.
However, I don't think that justifies harassment, Akumu, especially not doxing harassment. Something that has been happening basically all year to me. Like, my information has been held basically as blackmail, and personally, I don't really think anyone deserves that, no matter how trash of a person they are.
Didn't say it was deserved or okay. I said you shouldn't complain when you put yourself into that position. You committed the actions that set them off. You are one of the main people who fucked the CC into the moaning, groaning mess as it cannibalizes on itself, begging to be mercy killed. He then claims this is like some naivety that he hopes I grow out of.
And otherwise he's, what, 16? Perhaps that's just a me thing, but I try to be more patient of children. We were all stupid teenagers at one point, and maybe I'm optimistic, but I do think one day he'll grow from this. But until then, he comes across as kind of a pesky little twerp at the moment.
If telling yourself this is some naivety, that it's something I'll grow out of, helps you sleep at night, add it to the list. Continuing on, there is no belief. I don't need my subscribers to back me, as I don't rely on an utterly ridiculous concept like that, where I need to have everyone like me, or my points aren't valid. What the fuck? If they choose to, that's perfectly fine, but the idea that they have to, or that I need them to, is just laughable. You all lost because you genuinely thought coming together for one big slander video was going to be remotely enough to hit me. Oh dear God, more hate comments, more dislikes, more lies about me. You all are seriously gonna have to step up your game. I've been dealing with this since day one. You're not gonna make a difference here.
Following that, then, I guess Akumu found my tweet talking about J.K. Rowling, and apparently he took issue with the fact that I called people in my replies transphobic, despite the fact that I have people legit misgendering me in my own replies, basically trying to invalidate trans people as a whole. Transphobia, by a more blanketed definition, is a more discernible negative view of trans people. Now let's talk about Akumu's tweet. So, off the bat, to do. So, if he wants to play a little semantics game, we can play the semantics game, and either way, he loses. If you're beginning to see a pattern, congrats. You have more of an understanding to trans issues than Akumu does as he continues to copy and paste the same, "Oh, I don't hate all trans people" narrative, as if that vague statement somehow excuses his blatant transphobic behavior. Trans people are still being studied. We're newly out because society is slowly, and albeit inconsistently, opening up to the idea that we exist, and to try and revoke our identities like you do to Fuchsia, Butter, and I, kinda shows a textbook definition of bigoted beliefs. Though, with that in mind, everything else Akumu has brought up against me has been my gender. So if me being trans isn't your main point of contention for me, then I don't know what is. Literally everything except the fact that I am trans and confessions is no longer applicable or even relevant to who I am anyway, so unless you're purposely using older information to justify a hatred for me, then we can come to a conclusion you're here calling a girl out because she's trans. Whether or not that's the correct assumption to make, I don't know, and at the end of the day, I don't really care. Though we can't say that there isn't evidence supporting the claim. Your Twitter makes that claim for us. Speaking of which, I know you claim you don't hate me just in general, but I'm also calling bullshit on that too anyway, considering once again this was you coming at me first, and with everything else that I brought up that you have done to be purposely disrespectful or otherwise vindictive, I don't believe there's not at least some level of hatred there, or at the very least a level of spite. And who's gonna say that I spurred out just on the basis that I responded at all? He's probably gonna make a response to this video and argue against the notion that he's being transphobic because he doesn't hate absolutely every trans person in the world, and then say that I took the L and I inevitably don't respond. And, you know, his smaller fan base will kind of just believe that. Oh yeah, and he's also a bit transphobic, you know. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day, and remember, you're valid.
In the last part of the video, Mad Cow admits to a few things which painfully hurt her video. She admits to having friends who make sexual assault jokes, then claims it's not hypocrisy because she says so, when she literally tried to call us out on it when it was Tello making a joke about making a false rape allegation about Silver's situation and the false claims made against him. She admits to having racist slurs and all kinds of shit, and admits that the day the video was uploaded that she cleaned house.
Let's go over the problems in mine. Now, my Discord server used to be a cesspool of slurs and gross shit in the main chat, and it was horrible. There was no excuse for it to go on as long as it did. However, as of today, I have banned the people responsible, I talked to the mods responsible, I demodded a couple people who were not being very good mods, or they were saying slurs and whatnot.
For some reason, she's under the impression that somehow allows her to cast stones on my server, which allows certain jokes, and is for bait, when she admits to having it too. But somehow in that madness-ridden cow brain of hers, it's not suspicious and blatantly obvious that she's saving ass. It is still hypocritical that she had these things in her server and tried to call us out for it. No matter if you delete it during the moment you call us out for it. It happened. You aren't slithering your hut ass out of this one. She also basically admits that the video I'm covering is her attempt at neutralizing me like I did with Lucy.
I'm sure he's going to respond with another poorly made video that's going to dig himself an even deeper hole. Now, I don't really care about that because I've said my piece. I've shown everybody what they need to see, and I'm washing my hands of this situation. From this point on, I am no longer responding to anything he has to say. I won't be watching whatever call out he wants to make on me, because as I've established, he's a liar, he deletes evidence. Let's go over the problems in mine. Now, my Discord server used to be a cesspool of slurs and gross shit in the main chat, and it was horrible. There was no excuse for it to go on as long as it did. However, as of today, I have banned the people responsible, I talked to the mods responsible, I demodded a couple people who were not being very good mods, or he leaves out things to make people seem worse than they are. He's not concerned with improvement, only canceling people and tearing them down. And he thinks accusing people of being into underage shit is fun. He leaves out things to make people seem worse than they are. In short, he is not to be taken seriously.
Unfortunately, really, it didn't end the way she desired. Instead, she's the one neutralized. There's also quite a few hypocritical statements, along with lies. Like, for example, she claims I have a pattern of lying, which is a lie and hypocritical, now that this video opens up the door on their little scheme.
What is also removed is any underage characters or lolly shit in any of these chats. That is a hard rule in my server. They are immediately removed. We have removed people for defending that shit because it is disgusting.
Madlibbs, this is directly to you. Your friends can listen, but I'm talking to you directly. Put down the food and just listen. I know you feel justified, but no, it's shown that you aren't. Is constantly propagating lies worth it? Is using photoshopped evidence, pulling the context from something, constantly using the same points those before you have tried, freaking out because you can't handle some pronouns not being the ones you want, contradicting the points you make, crafting this web of lies, taking everything seriously when you're telling people not to, crying over confrontation when you continue to do the action leading to it, and playing victim when your group is directly responsible for this. Really all worth this?
Was it worth it? Was it?
Are you really gonna be proud of this? Coming together for an Avengers level threat solely because members of your group picked a fight with someone they couldn't take, biting off more than they could chew. is creating a web of lies, pushing a narrative about someone all on one person simply because you can't learn to walk away, because you can't realize that you never stood a chance, that you weren't anything more than a grain of sand in the end. All you had to do was walk away.
When you first came here, I gave you the choice to walk away. You chose not to.
That's it. But you pushed on over and over. Lucy drama, the Toby drama, and now with me. You didn't wash your hands clean.
Now, I don't really care about that because I've said my piece. I've shown everybody what they need to see, and I'm washing my hands of this situation.
You dove into a septic tank where you will remain, an endless, bottomless hole. Just as Lucy, just as Toby, and just like Toasty. A place where you belong. You made this bed, and no matter the tantrum, no matter the crying, you are laying in it. I do have one question, though. Why throw it all away? Why continue to face the inevitable? Why climb atop that hill only to dig your grave deeper and deeper? Your ignorance in this entire web you've crafted was what caused your downfall. Tell me, are you really that dumb you would cement everything we've pointed out as fact? Did you really want people to know you for this? Producing these lies, dragging others in, trying to change history, proving what we've said about you and the FCK. Why would you want to be known for making a movie of a terribly crafted narrative, using stretches, lies, false claims, and more? You even dragged Slumber in on it. It started out from a mere meme to me, only for you to take Slumber, who had some potential in improvement, and throw that all away. I honestly don't know, and this will probably puzzle me throughout my life. I can't see why someone would want this for themselves, their channel, to be a hypocritical, lying, steaming pile of garbage no better than the rest. To be so desperate you try and have others feed into this narrative, telling them that I weaponized Toasty against you because you can't handle the fact you all were getting called out. I've honestly never seen something so sad yet epic. To go from being what I thought was once a decent, clean member in the FCK, to not being any better than the rest. There's a part 2 of this video, which covers the FCK and those associated with it, which unfortunately, no, it doesn't end with this. It doesn't end with what's been shown in this video. I suggest checking out part 2 if you'd like to know the full extent, how they fell. Madlibbs was quite literally the final pillar.